Well, fellas, we got our new tires. Had a lot of people ask why we're going to this tire instead of a slick, and I actually have an answer for you, believe it or not. But for right now, we need to go ahead and get these things off and get them in the back of the truck so we can take them to the tire shop first thing in the morning, get these things swapped over, because we got plans for this week coming up. $27, 10.5, 15. Quick Time Pros. A lot of people don't really run them much these days. You know, everybody, Mickey Thompson this and new tires that and blah, blah, blah. Trust me though, when I tell you, these OGs right here will get down. My quickest 60 foot ever was on Quick Time Pros back in the day. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this setup and why I chose these tires and what else is coming up for the week. Ooh, now we talking, baby. Now we talking. What you were looking at right here is a Hoosier Quick Time Pro, a 27-inch tall tire. And the reason why I like these tires so much is because the 26 is what we normally run on our cars. But to go up in size, typically you have to go to like a 28-inch tall tire. A 28 is going to be even taller. Well, you run into clearance problems with the GTs. Not so much the LX, but definitely with GTs. So, QuickTime Pros offer a 27-inch, and that's kind of why we run these. But that's not the only reason. You may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not going to hook. It's got grooves in it. It's not the same as a slick. Actually, it's basically the same compound as a slick. And I have had really good success in the past with tires like this. And boy, they got these things pumped up tight. All right, we'll go ahead and get these things bolted up, and I'll talk to you about why I chose the QuickTime Pro over the Slick. I want to remind everybody that we've moved all of our shirts, all of our gear, everything over to shopbrutal.com. If you're interested in a new shirt, new hat, new hoodie, head over there and check us out. I got the air pressure at about 20 pounds. That'll be good to drive it back and forth to the track. One of the things though that I want to show you guys and talk about real quick is the suspension setup on this car, because this will be one of the few times that we get a chance to look at it. So this car has the Team Z setup on it, as you can see, and our roll bar here, the upper relocation setup for the upper control arms. Also, the shocks are valved for them by Strange. They are double adjustable. The little knob is over here on this side. We got 35 spline axles, obviously a spool in the rear of the car. Team Z lower control arms, Team Z springs. One of the main reasons why we choose 27-inch tall tires is for clearance right here. As you can see, we got a decent amount of clearance, and we even got clearance up front. So we should be good when we drop the car down. So as you can see, these tires don't rub, and that's really the secret and the key to why so many different people run the 27-inch QuickTime Pros. So let's take a closer look at it. Now, looking at it here, I can see that my rear end could probably be centered more a little towards the rear of the car, but it's fine the way that it is right now. They look a little stretched, and that is actually an added benefit a lot of times when it comes to this kind of tire, because look where it puts the actual tread, way up inside of here, rather than out here by the edge where you're constantly scrubbing. These tires pretty much are going to work on anything when it comes to a Fox body. That's the main reason why I like these tires, but there is something that is just as important that we've not talked about yet, and that is the fact that they hook like a mother. Are they a full slick? I'll say this, I don't think they're much different. Look, I've had Hoosier slicks, I've had Mickey Thompson slicks, I've had every different drag radial pretty much that they make. Obviously, there are a few that I haven't had. Let me tell you something. These things work. They're a 27-inch tall tire that kind of meets in the middle, right between the 26 and the 28. And they're also bias ply. They just happen to have a few little grooves cut down the center of this tire. Now, a lot of these big-time drag racers will argue compound, and I know that it matters to a lot of the higher horsepower cars that are really looking to be consistent. But for most of us, in this world, this tire right here works. So what does bias ply mean? What's the difference? Well, for one thing, the tire's gonna be able to wrinkle now when you leave, just like a slick. There is something that's not quite so fun when it comes to bias ply, and that is the fact that they get a little sway. A little sway, just a little bit. So you gotta be careful of that. Although that's a bad thing, hear me out. Typically you get a lot of sway with a 28-inch tall tire. That's a lot of rubber, right? And it's just doing this. With a 27, there again, it's not quite a 26, it's not quite a 28, it's in the middle, and you get a lot of that sway taken out. We don't have a bunch of bulge on the side and the car rocking back and forth. Typically these tires right here will be a little more stable from my experience. Now you might think that a wider tire will make it more stable, but not always. It almost makes the car look mini-tubbed in a sense. The other good thing about running this tire is now you can run a little bit of a spacer back there behind the wheel if you need to. Because a lot of times these wheels, they'll rub on your parking brake cable and stuff like that, but you can run a really thin spacer, like here we go, right here. You run something like that on here, and as long as you've got enough stud, man, you're good to go. You can push that tire on out, which is probably what I'm gonna do with my car. And that works out great. With the Mickey Thompson Street R's that I had, I couldn't do that. The tire bulged so much, if you pushed it out, it would hit the fender, and if you left it in, it would rub on the damn e-brake cable. So there's not much really left to say with this. This is a really good tire. If you guys have never tried the QuickTime Pro, give it a try. It's a great tire if you're looking for a bias ply. Now with that being said, it is literally like 107, 110 degrees in the sun today. Guys, it is so freaking hot. We're not gonna be doing a whole lot of like in-shop work. It's just too hot. This Friday, if it doesn't rain, we're gonna take the Calypso to the track and we're gonna make some passes on this thing and hopefully finally get the 60 foot down where we want it. Dare I say the number I hope we run? I hope we run a 680 on motor. We should, but we probably won't. Also, remember, we got a big race coming up December 4th and 5th. If you guys are interested, go check out my Facebook page. I have all the rules, everything, all the information that you're gonna need up there on Facebook for you guys. But it's gonna be a big race coming up in December down here in the Dirty Dirty. That way you snowbirds can come down here and not have to deal with snow and everything else. Hopefully not heat like this though, because it is bad right now. We never give that car any love. You know, I was gonna end the video, but I'm letting the battery charge up. This is how little I drive this car now. I think I may take this thing to Ford Takeover. Y'all let me know what you think. Catch you in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching.
Before we wrap this video up, I want to talk a little bit about drag radials versus bias ply. Now, I am not a tire expert, a suspension expert, obviously, because we're still struggling to get my car to hook. But here's what I will say. There may be a better tire out there than the Hoosier. Sure, I know Hoosier has their own new drag radial that they released, and there's a lot of other companies that have really good tires as well. But typically a bias ply tire is going to work better in most cases than a drag radial, especially in a stick shift car. Unless you're set up for that drag radial, there's a good chance that that bias ply is just going to work better. And we tried to make the ET Streets work because I figured that they would work with my car, but they just haven't. They haven't worked with it. So it's okay. We're just going to go to a tried and true method. And I want to show you guys that the Hoosier QuickTime Pros are still a good tire. We still have to get the car to the track and we have to test it, right? So it could fail us. We don't know yet. Every car is a little different. Every suspension setup is a little different. You have to remember, my car is set up for anti-squat or separation. So I don't know how it's going to react to these tires, but it should do good. So we're going to get to the track and test it out. I'm going to also include a little bit of footage from where I own the Pontiac Ventura and my Chevelle. It's a video that I shot about 6 years ago where we just sat down and talked about it. And I don't think a lot of you guys have seen it. The Ventura was the car that I ran the Hoosier QuickTime Pros on. So I think you guys will like this. So I'll include that at the end of the video.
You guys have been asking to see pictures of, some of my other cars. So tonight we're going to talk about some stuff that's not all Fords. Now I'm not going to go through all of my cars tonight just because we're going to save those for other videos. What I'm going to do is talk about the non-Ford cars that I've owned. And I've actually owned quite a few. So back in, I think it was 05, I had a 72 Pontiac Ventura with a 406 with a 400 small block Chevrolet, bored to a 406. Had a solid roller cam in it, had dark Iron Eagle heads. Not much to it, guys. It was a very simple build. just run of the mill. The heads were pretty much stock out of the box from what I remember. Victor Jr. intake. Back in 05, 06, I want to say it was 06 or so, this car ran 690s in the 8th on motor. You know, you could drive this thing to the track. Now, I had 456 gears in it, so I mean, it was humming. But you could drive this thing to the track, and it was pretty quick. It really was, especially for its time. Fast forward about 6 years later, I got a 71 or 72 Chevelle. Here's a picture of that. So beautiful car. It wasn't a show car necessarily, but it was a very, very clean car. Now this was a 408, and it had I think it had a hydraulic roller in it, if I'm not mistaken. And it didn't run as good as the Ventura did. It didn't have the compression, I don't think, that the Ventura did. It had a 3-speed in it, had a turbo 350 in it with, I don't know all the specs on the car. I actually traded a Jeep for it, but I think that car ran 730s, 720s, something like that. But it was a fun car. I think I have a little bit of video of it. If I do, I'll include it right here for you guys.
$734.
So the point is, in showing you guys these cars and talking about that, that's kind of the mentality with this car right here. That's why I want to build it the way that I want to build it.